Why, hello there. That felt really weird. Hello. Hey, how you doing? I hope you're doing well today. Welcome to my channel, Changeling Reader. If you're new here, my name is Adrian. And today, we're doing a bit of a challenge or a project of sorts, I guess. Inspired by Tiffany from Beautiful Minutia and one other YouTuber that she got it from is from them. I wish I could remember the person. I'll put both Tiffany's channel and the other channel in the description. Although, if I remember correctly, Tiffany did say that the originator was no longer uploading, so there's that to bear in mind. Anyways, this is the Read or Rid project. I didn't say that yet. Basically, you go through your shelves, you find the books that you're kind of, I guess, iffy on at best, or it's been there a long time and you haven't really thought about it much, or you're just holding on to a book. Basically, it's a challenge or project to either read a book or get rid of it by the end of the year. If you haven't read it by the end of the year, you're just getting rid of it. So, I have 13 books today that I decided to do the Read or Rid project for this year, because it seemed like a good idea to get through some of my physical TBR and finally make a decision on some of these books, because I did go through a bunch of my books and decide to unhaul some, which is why you saw that 2-part unhaul I did a while back, because I went through all my books and was like, these do not spark joy, or I do not want to read them, so I got rid of them. Now I have one shelf where it was a bunch of books that I was like, kind of iffy on, but still wanted to keep. That's where I got all the books from this time. We'll see how it goes in the future if I do the Read or Rid project again, depending on how successful it is this year. So let's dive in to the books. In no particular order, I'm just going from the top of the pile I have here. The first one is a returning one from August, and that is this book, Trust and Betrayal by Janet Bode. I did put this down in August because I realized it's like got real stories and it's got a lot more heavy content. At the time, I was like looking for a bit more lighter material for all the stuff I was reading. But yeah, I do want to get to this because I've had it on the shelf and like a few times looked at it and thought, do I really want to keep that? But I want to know what it said. So I'll just read it. I will say I do have some odd ones because they're ones that like grabbed my eye at one point, either at like book sales or stuff. So there's a few of them where I'm like, I'm not actually sure what genre it is. So it's going to be interesting. The second book is The Boston Strangler by Gerald Frank, with this very bizarre cover and detailing on the sides. What do you call that? The red stuff on it? I don't know. It's got freaking tiny text. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, I didn't know this was nonfiction. I think this is like a true crime book, weirdly enough, which I didn't know was a thing. It's old though. Huh. I don't know. Like that cover is unnerving. I thought it was going to be a very interesting like horror or like thriller, but it's like a true crime book. That plus the size of the print was making me question, but I figured might as well read it now. Third, we have Dan Brown's Deception Point. I talked about Digital Fortress, and I have since questioned if I want to keep any Dan Brown books because it's been a while since I read them and they're kind of formulaic and not the best written. From what I remember of Digital Fortress or seeing people talk about his Robert Langdon books, this is a completely different one. Still want to see how it is, so yeah. Fourth, we have Birth of the Firebringer by Meredith Ann Pierce. a very old book. I don't really know what it's about. I think it's a children's book. It looks like a rather old children's novel. Like, it's scholastic, but a very old scholastic. Like, I'm not even sure when this is from. Oh my gosh, it was $2.50. When is this from? 1985. Okay. Well, yes, so Birth of the Firebringer. It's got a unicorn. I assume something to do with a journey. Oh my gosh, that hoof. Look at the hoof on this unicorn. It looks so weird. Anyways. Fifth on the list, we have Heartlight by T.A. Barron. It looks like it's meant to be a sci-fi or maybe sci-fantasy. But it's got a quote on the back from Madeleine L'Engle saying, "What a joy to read. The author manages to combine sophisticated concepts of physics with high fantasy in a marvelous way." Okay, so it is sci-fantasy. Wow, okay. This one, actually, I am kind of looking forward to reading. I just haven't gotten around to it because I've kept being like, well, I have other more pressing books to get to, or ones that I want to get to sooner. So it's never been high up on the physical TBR, but I thought the Read or Read project was the perfect time. The next book, the sixth book, completely unintentionally for what it is, kind of makes me uncomfortable, but it's called Forbidden Fruit by Erica Spindler, and it's got the apple turning into a snake from its peel, and it's the sixth book. What the frick? I'm sorry. That is just weird. I didn't realize that. It's just weird that the one that has to do with the forbidden fruit and has like the symbolism of like this snake, which is like associated with Satan, and then it's the sixth. How weird. Isn't that fun? I'm not sure what genre this book is. I picked it up because it looked interesting, and then I realized it kind of looked like a romance novel, or like even a semi like romantic erotica. You know, the ones that where they're like, they have a lot more steamy scenes, I guess. But at the same time, reading the back, I was also like, I don't know if this is a romance or a thriller or both. Because it seems like it might be like more romantic thriller. Because there's unholy passions, forbidden love, but also like the way it's described on the back, it's kind of doesn't seem like it's a pot. I don't know. I don't actually remember where I got this book. Like, I feel like I picked it up because it grabbed my eye, but at the same time, I don't This is gonna be an interesting one. Let's move on before I just dig myself. What? It was the brand. It's just okay. It was the former library book. Maybe it ended up in my bag when I went to one of the sales when they had like a big brown paper bag. Fill it for $5, and you get all the books for $5. This book is weirding me out now. Moving on, for number 7, we have another interesting book, but in a different way, in that it's missing its cover. Like, it's old and has no front, no binding, cover, and no back. But fortunately, this is like an excerpt from the inside, and the title is right here. It's Grey Wolf by Rutherford Montgomery. And this looks like a really old book, so I'm not sure if I actually want to read it, because it might just fall apart. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's got a copyright for 1938, but this might be the third printing, which was 1961. But that's still like 60 years ago. This book is old. And not the best taking care of, it seems, because I do have a book that's getting close to a century old now. Not sure. I'll need to check that, but it's on my shelf in my room. I have some old books because I like the look of them, that I am eventually going to read them. That's a tangent. Let's move on. Book 8 is When the Wind Blows by James Patterson, which is apparently a precursor to his Maximum Ride novels, from what I understand. Like the ones where it's kids who have been scientifically altered to have wings. But this is a much more dark thriller-esque one than kind of the YA series of Maximum Ride novels. I've found that I'm not that big a fan of James Patterson because he's rather predictable and very kind of a bit manufactured, and not in a good way. I guess manufacturing is can be done to anything, but it doesn't feel like there's much originality to some of his stuff, or some of it's just obnoxious. I got rid of all of my I can't I'm blanking on the dude's name. Along Came a Spider, not Alex Rider. Alex Cross? It's just one of his main characters for a long adult series. I read a quarter of the first one with that character, and I couldn't stand. I predicted the ending so much. The movie, listen to me, I found the movie better. I thought the movie did it better, which really made me not regret getting rid of all of those books that I had, because I definitely was not interested in reading them anymore after the mess that was the first one, because it was just anyways. That was a tangent. James Patterson's When the Wind Blows. I just wanted to I have mostly kept hold of this one because it seemed interesting, especially to see, because I've read some of Maximum, or I should say I read some of Maximum. Oh man, now I'm mixing up names of the stuff. I read the Flying Children series. Is it Maximum Drive? Now I'm really questioning myself. Anyways, I read some of those books when I was younger, so I thought it might be interesting to see what the progenitor, is that the right word I'm looking for? The precursor to that series. The 9th book is Cat Raised the Dead by Shirley Rousseau Murphy. This is a third book featuring this cat, I guess. From what I understand, it's a bunch of books with a cat detective. And it sounds adorable. I'm not a human, I'm a cat. That's the first thing all the way on the top here. And it just looked both macabre, but also adorable in a very good way when I saw it the first time. I haven't picked it up at all though, just because even though it looks cute and stuff, it's just a book that never was able to outpace other books on my physical TBR. So the Reader Id Project is going to help with that. The 10th book is The Book of the Dead by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. I don't know what happened to the cover. I think it got chewed up a bit or something before I got it. This is one that I almost got rid of, but then I read the first chapter or so to see if I would be interested in going any further, and it was enough to make me hold on to it for now. Alright, so the last 3 are books I got for free, basically for some of my writing classes at my college. So the 11th book is Scorpionfish by Natalie Becka. I can't remember if that's... I had Dean Becka as a professor in, like, he was my teacher for the class that this book came up in for writing short stories or just writing in general. But I can't remember if Natalie is his daughter or his wife. We'll see. But according to my friend, his wife wrote some weird... it wasn't just interesting. She said weird because there was dolphin, very intimate contact with dolphins in one of the books. And I'm not sure if that's this book, but I got this for free because of a alum of the college that wanted to provide books for students attending the events called Writers at Grinnell. It's kind of a really cool thing where Grinnell, my college, has various writers come visit, talk about some of their writing, maybe read from their latest work. Stuff like that. And it's like really neat that we get this. I have a couple signed novels from some authors, but not here, out there. Like I read Real Life by Brandon Taylor and got it signed by him because he visited my college. Because my professor at the time, Dean Becka, is friends with Mr. Taylor. So it was fascinating. But yes, Scorpionfish. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I literally have no idea what Scorpionfish is even about. Alright, next we have the Office of Historical Corrections by Danielle Evans, which is both a novella and some short stories. Don't really know much about this. We read... it was either a story from this or the next book I have on this list for the project. We had to read, I think, from both of them for the short stories to as stories to study for our writing. Sorry. Which I didn't do that because I don't know, that just at the time I wasn't vibing with the short stories that we were reading. Plus I was already working on some of my own writing for the class, so it was like, I don't know if this is going to be helpful, and I didn't feel like I missed out, but I still want to read them. At the time, I knew I still wanted to read them sometime in the future, so now I've decided to make it now rather than later. Or I guess this year rather than later. Alright, the final book, the 13th. Ooh, spooky numbers. The 13th book is I Hold a Wolf by the Ears. Stories by Laura Vandenberg. This one I actually do think I read one of the stories, and I remember being very unimpressed, unfortunately, because it felt like a longer form idea squashed into a short story, but then in the minimizing of it, a lot of the impact was cut out, and a lot of the sense and context and clarity was also kind of a bit lost. So I did put this down and was like, Not sure if I'm gonna like this, but that does mean I do want to like read through it and then choose if I still feel the same. And I'm going to reread that story because who knows, maybe that was just because of having to read it fast for class. So that's the 13 books I want to do for the Read or Rid project this year. Wish me luck. Because there's some interesting books on this list. And I'm not sure what my experience is going to be. That reminds me, I don't know which of these I'm going to try to read this month. Let's go with Grey Wolf. I'll read that old book without the covers. Let me grab it. Actually, no. I changed my mind. I think I'm going to try to read The Book of the Dead for this January. I don't know why. I just was going through the pile to grab Grey Wolf, and I picked up The Book of the Dead, and my brain was like, no, that one. So, yeah. Here's another one for January, I guess. Well, that we're gonna try. Let's see how it goes. That is all. Perfect. I look forward to seeing how this goes and hopefully having more space on my shelves. Because I need it. Because I have a big book haul that I need to film and a bunch of books that I need to find shelving space for. Because while at Grinnell, well, you know what? Let me reserve it for the actual video itself. So, thank you for watching. This has been great. I wasn't expecting to, because I did not think about the books as I grabbed them out much, beyond being like, oh, that one. So I was, this is gonna be an interesting batch to go through. Okay. Yes, lovely to see y'all. I hope everyone has a lovely day. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you find a wonderful reading experience this week. And I hope I do too. So, thank you again for watching. I haven't figured out an outro, which is why I'm just blubbering in these videos, but yes, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Much good reading be upon you. What? Much good reading be upon you? It could work. That might be my thing. Who knows? Weird. I'm gonna end it now. Ciao.